Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Nature channel. Take a soft breath in and let it drift out slowly. Tonight, you and I will wander into a quiet world of wings, a gentle realm where butterflies move like floating petals, and every motion feels slow, calm, and full of wonder. As you settle in, imagine yourself standing in a meadow just before dusk, where the light turns honey gold and the air feels warm against your skin. Around you, butterflies drift through the last glow of the day, each one as delicate as breath. You watch one land gently on a blade of grass, and you notice how its wings fold like a tiny book resting in the evening air. You see how butterflies move without urgency. Their flight isn't straight or hurried. It meanders like they're following invisible currents. This wandering pattern is part of how they stay safe, gently confusing any creature who might be watching them too closely. Their calm dance is both beauty and survival. As you breathe slowly, you notice how thin their wings truly are, layers so fine they're almost transparent. Each wing is covered with tiny scales, thousands of them, overlapping like soft shingles. These scales catch the light in ways the eye doesn't always notice, bending it, scattering it, and creating colors that shimmer like watercolor strokes. Sometimes the colors you see aren't pigments at all. They're the result of microscopic structures bending light into blues, greens, and violets. A butterfly's shimmer is a soft illusion created by nature's quietest architecture. A warm breeze moves through the meadow, and you see how butterflies use their wings not only to glide, but to absorb heat. They're creatures of sunlight. Their wings act like tiny solar panels, warming their bodies so they can move, feed, and rise into the air. Nearby, one butterfly opens and closes its wings slowly, a gentle rhythm that looks almost like breathing. It's regulating its temperature, finding balance in the cooling evening as the day's warmth slips away. You notice how each butterfly seems to prefer certain flowers. They taste with their feet, tiny receptors that help them recognize the right plants. You watch one settle on a blossom, and with the slightest dip of its head, it uncoils a long, delicate tube to sip nectar. This proboscis is curled like a spring when not in use, a perfect spiral hidden in plain sight. Another butterfly drifts by, and you see a pattern on its wings that looks like an eye. These eye spots aren't meant to frighten, just to gently mislead, offering a harmless distraction so the butterfly can slip away untouched. You take another slow breath and notice how butterflies glide almost effortlessly. They don't flap constantly like birds. Instead, they catch tiny swells of air, saving energy, letting the world carry them softly from place to place. As twilight deepens, you remember that butterflies can't see all colors the way humans do, but they can see ultraviolet light, patterns hidden from us, guiding them from flower to flower like secret signs written across petals. You hear a faint rustle, the sound of wings among leaves. Many butterflies rest at night, tucking themselves into small, sheltered spaces. Their world becomes still, just as yours does now. Some butterflies live only a few weeks, while others, like the monarch, travel thousands of miles, crossing fields, mountains, and entire countries. Their journey is long, but it is carried out gently, step by step, wing beat by wing beat, following the pull of instincts older than memory. You watch one more butterfly drift through the last streak of sunset. Even in this dim light, it moves with the same serene pace, as though the entire sky is guiding it home. And as the evening settles, you feel a similar softness inside yourself, a quietness, a gentle loosening, as though your thoughts are gliding just as lightly as wings in a fading sky. The night grows softer around you as you linger in the quiet meadow. The last traces of daylight fade away, leaving only the pale glow of the sky and the occasional glimmer of fireflies drifting through the grass. Yet, even in the dimness, butterflies hold their own subtle rhythms, settling into the calm of evening in ways that feel almost like a lullaby. You notice one resting under a leaf, wings closed tightly as if hugging itself against the coming coolness. Butterflies cannot fly when their bodies are too cold, so they find places where the night air feels gentle, protected from the breeze. This nightly stillness is part of their delicate routine, a pause between the soft wanderings of the day. As you breathe quietly, you realize that butterflies don't sleep the way humans do. Instead, they enter a state of rest called torpor, slowing everything down, their breathing, their movements, their tiny heartbeat. It's a natural drift into stillness that mirrors the way your own mind begins to settle. Somewhere nearby, a faint flutter stirs the air. A moth glides past, a close cousin to the butterfly. In the calm, you notice the subtle differences. Butterflies usually rest with their wings held together, while many moths open theirs like delicate fans. Their antennae tell stories too. Butterflies have thin stalks with gentle clubs at the tips, while moths often wear feathery plumes that catch the smallest signals in the air. A cool scent rises from the earth, and you sense how butterflies use their chemical cues to find one another. They rely not only on color and light, but also on the faintest traces of scent carried through evening air. This helps them recognize mates or locate the right plants for laying their eggs. Plants chosen not by accident, but by deep instinct. Each species seeks its own special leaf, a host that will feed its tiny caterpillars when they hatch. You look up and imagine a butterfly just beginning its life, a tiny egg, no larger than a grain of sand. When it hatches, the caterpillar that emerges begins its quiet work, eating and storing energy. Every leaf it eats becomes part of a transformation that has not yet begun. Inside its body, invisible preparations are taking place, laying the groundwork for wings it cannot imagine. Caterpillars grow quickly, shedding their skin again and again. Each time, a slightly larger form emerges, patient and persistent. And then, one day, the caterpillar finds a safe place and becomes still. The chrysalis it forms around itself seems simple from the outside, but within, an entire world rearranges. Tissues soften, dissolve, and reform. Cells that have been waiting in silence awaken and begin building wings, colors, patterns, the blueprint of a creature entirely new. This transformation takes place quietly, without rush or noise. Nature always moves at the pace it needs, never forcing itself, never hurrying. And when the butterfly finally emerges, its wings are soft and folded, glistening with tiny droplets. It waits patiently, gently pumping fluid into each vein until the wings expand into their full shape. Only when they harden does it rise, gliding into its first breath of warm air. A faint whisper of wind moves through the meadow, and you notice how butterflies navigate, using both sunlight and the Earth's magnetic field. Even the tiniest wings can sense invisible directions, guiding them across landscapes they have never seen before. Some butterflies sip not just nectar, but also minerals from damp soil or the edges of puddles, a behavior called puddling. They gather in small groups, their wings opening and closing like a slow, synchronized heartbeat. Through this, they take in salts and nutrients that help them thrive, especially the males, who pass some of these minerals to females during mating, giving the next generation a quiet advantage. You watch as the air cools further and the last butterfly settles completely. Its colors fade into the shadows like a petal folding into itself. Even though the meadow grows still, life within it hums faintly, every leaf, every tiny creature, every hidden rhythm moving toward rest. And you, breathing softly, feel that same rhythm pulling you inward, your thoughts becoming lighter, your mind gliding just a little slower, like wings folding gently for the night. The night settles fully now, wrapping the meadow in a velvety calm. The air grows cooler, and the world seems to slow into a deep, steady rhythm. You sit quietly, listening to the soft chorus of distant crickets, and you feel the presence of butterflies, even though most of them are resting, hidden beneath leaves and petals. A faint moon rises, casting a pale glow across the field. In this gentle light, the patterns on butterfly wings would look different if you could see them. Many species have markings that reflect ultraviolet light, colors your eyes can't perceive, but butterflies see clearly. To them, a moonlit meadow is filled with glowing paths and shimmering patterns, a quiet map drawn in wavelengths invisible to humans. You recall how a butterfly's wings are more than decoration. Each pattern plays a part in its life. Some markings help them melt into the background, mimicking leaves, bark, or shadows. Others serve as signals to potential mates, radiant signs written across delicate wings, telling stories of health and lineage. And some markings exist only to mislead, to gently redirect attention away from the butterfly's vulnerable body. A soft breeze touches your skin, and you're reminded that butterflies are incredibly lightweight. Some weigh less than a paperclip. This lightness allows them to float effortlessly, turning even the smallest breeze into a path across the air. Their bones, or rather, their lack of them, make this possible. Butterflies are built around an exoskeleton, a flexible shell that protects them without weighing them down. You imagine holding a butterfly for a moment. Its wings would feel like nothing more than a whisper. But the tiny scales that cover those wings serve important roles. They help with temperature control, camouflage, and even help shed water. When rain falls, the droplets bead on their wings and roll off without soaking in, a delicate form of waterproofing that keeps them safe from the chill. Some butterflies fly at dawn when the world is cool and quiet. Others prefer the warmth of midday. Many cannot fly at all until sunlight warms their muscles. Their flight is a partnership with the sun, each wing beat guided by the warmth they gather. As you breathe slowly, you remember that butterflies taste with their feet. When they land on a flower, they instantly sense whether it's worth staying, whether it holds the nectar they need. This ability helps them make efficient choices during their gentle travels, sipping only from blossoms that nourish them. Farther in the meadow, hidden in the shadows, are plants butterflies use for laying eggs. Each species chooses its own kind, a host plant that will sustain its caterpillars. Monarchs choose milkweed, painted ladies choose thistles. Swallowtails often choose citrus or parsley. This precise selection ensures that when the tiny caterpillars emerge, they find exactly what they need to begin their quiet journey. You can almost picture a monarch egg, no larger than a pinhead, resting beneath a leaf, glowing softly in the moonlight. Its future is already written, waiting patiently for warmth and time. And then you think of butterfly senses, how they navigate through scent, how they see polarized light, how they use patterns in the sky to orient themselves. Even their antennae act like gentle receivers, picking up subtle cues in the air. To a butterfly, the world is full of tiny signals guiding each step of its life. A moth drifts by again, wings catching the faintest glow. Though related, butterflies and moths carry different rhythms. Moths often have fuzzy bodies that help keep warmth in the cool of night. Butterflies are their daytime counterparts, gliding in sunlight like petals drifting on air. The meadow, though quiet, holds layers of life. Somewhere, a butterfly perched earlier has become perfectly still. Some butterflies change color slightly at night as their wings relax, shifting into a more muted form. It helps them blend into darkness, a nighttime camouflage as soft as a shadow. As you listen to the nighttime sounds, you sense how butterflies contribute to the calm balance of the meadow. Their presence during the day shapes the flowers, the movement of pollen, the gentle flow of energy across sunlight hours. Even in their resting state now, their life stories continue, cycles of transformation happening in cocoons, migrations unfolding in the minds of those traveling far, and silent preparations beginning for the first warmth of morning. You take one more deep breath, feeling the stillness settle around you and within you. Like a butterfly folded for the night, your mind softens, unwinding into the quiet, floating gently toward rest. The night deepens into a comforting hush, and the meadow around you feels almost suspended in time. A soft layer of mist begins to gather near the ground, curling gently around the stems of flowers and drifting through the cool air like a quiet breath. Even though the butterflies are resting, their presence lingers, delicate, subtle, woven into the stillness. As you breathe slowly, you imagine a butterfly's earliest moments inside its egg. Before it ever sees light or air, it already carries instructions for its colors, its wing patterns, and even the shape of the journey it will take. The egg's surface, tiny and intricate, often has ridges and textures that look like miniature sculptures. These details help protect what's inside, keeping moisture steady and shielding the little life from the elements. When the caterpillar finally emerges, it begins its world with a gentle hunger. Its first meal is the eggshell itself, a quiet cycle of nourishment that gives it strength to explore its first leaf. Caterpillars are specialists in growth. In a matter of days, they expand many times their size. Their bodies stretch and contract with each feeding, and when their skin becomes too tight, they shed it to reveal a new, larger form beneath. The moonlight glows softly above you, and you remember that caterpillars have tiny feet lined with hooks that help them cling to leaves. These feet allow them to move confidently, even on smooth surfaces, guiding them across stems and edges without slipping. Some caterpillars have patterns that resemble twigs or bird droppings, gentle disguises that keep them unnoticed, quiet masters of blending into the world. As the night air grows cooler, you picture a caterpillar finding the perfect branch to begin its transformation. It attaches itself using silk, a thread so light, yet incredibly strong. With careful movements, it sheds its final skin and reveals a chrysalis underneath, a structure that gleams faintly, sometimes jade green, sometimes golden, sometimes patterned like a tiny jewel. Inside, everything quiets down. The caterpillar dissolves into a fluid state, and from that soft mystery, a butterfly slowly forms. You take a soft breath, feeling how the chrysalis seems to capture something essential about patience. It reminds you that transformation often happens quietly. It doesn't rush. It waits. It trusts the process, even when nothing seems to be happening on the outside. As the butterfly completes its metamorphosis, it senses the moment to emerge. The chrysalis cracks gently, revealing wings that are folded and damp. The butterfly hangs suspended, opening and closing its wings slowly as they fill and strengthen. This process can take hours, and the butterfly doesn't rush even then. Every stretch is deliberate, unhurried. The mist in the meadow swirls lightly, and you imagine how butterflies rely on temperature to begin their day. When morning comes, they bask in warm sunlight, wings spread wide to gather heat. Their bodies need a certain warmth to move, a gentle threshold that allows their muscles to wake and their flight to begin. Butterflies often start their mornings with quiet feeding. Nectar offers them energy, but they also seek out minerals from the soil or from water droplets left behind by rain. This behavior, known as puddling, creates scenes where many butterflies gather in clusters near a wet patch of earth, their wings opening and closing together like a slow, calm symphony. You sense how butterflies communicate in subtle ways, through scents released from tiny glands, through vibrations, through the angle of their wings catching light. Some species even produce faint clicks or taps, barely audible, tiny signs woven into the air. And as you sit in the cool meadow, you realize butterflies have lived on Earth for millions of years. Fossils show ancient wing scales preserved in stone, tiny traces of fluttering lives that existed long before humans walked these lands. The world has changed countless times, yet butterflies have continued their gentle presence through each shifting era. High above you, the stars shimmer softly. Butterflies, too, sometimes use the sky for direction. Some species navigate long migrations by reading the position of the sun and adjusting their path according to the time of day. Others rely on the Earth's magnetic field, a quiet compass that guides them over vast distances. The meadow feels warmer now, not in temperature, but in spirit. A place where every detail, every tiny movement, every quiet transformation contributes to a sense of harmony. Even resting butterflies shape the night with their presence, reminding you of soft persistence and the beauty of small, steady moments. As you breathe in once more, you feel your thoughts drifting into that same peaceful rhythm, light as wings, soft as petals, calm as the air between one flutter and the next. The night stretches onward with a gentle ease, and the meadow around you settles into an even deeper quiet. The mist has thinned, leaving delicate beads of moisture on the petals and grasses nearby. In this soft stillness, the world seems to breathe with you, slow, steady, calm. And the presence of butterflies feels woven into the very air, even as they rest unseen. As you settle deeper into this peaceful night, you remember that butterflies live on nearly every continent except the coldest edges of the world. Yet, They always seem to bring a softness wherever they appear. In tropical forests, they glide between shafts of sunlight. In mountain valleys, their wings shimmer with cooler tones. Even in quiet city gardens, they arrive like drifting fragments of color, making everyday spaces feel a little more alive. A gentle breeze stirs the grasses, and you imagine butterflies sensing that same wind with tiny hairs along their bodies. These delicate structures help them feel air currents, temperature changes, and even approaching weather. To them, the world communicates in currents and subtle shifts, messages written in the movement of air. As you take a slow breath, you're reminded of how butterflies regulate their body temperature. They are ectothermic, relying on the warmth around them rather than heat generated within. Some species warm themselves by basking with wings fully open, absorbing sunlight like a living solar panel. Others angle their wings to catch light more precisely, using the warmth to activate their flight muscles. When butterflies rest, their wings often form shapes that help them blend into the world. Some resemble leaves with tiny speckles, veins, and even bite marks that mimic natural wear. Others look like bits of bark or dried petals, remaining perfectly still until danger passes. This quiet camouflage is one of their greatest tools, a form of peaceful invisibility. In the cool night, you think about how butterflies and flowers share a gentle bond. Many species co-evolve with specific plants, forming relationships so precise that each depends on the other. The shape of a butterfly's proboscis often matches the blossom it feeds from, like a lock and key crafted by nature's patient hand. The moonlight glows faintly across the meadow, and you imagine certain butterfly wings reflecting light in ways we cannot see. Some scales scatter ultraviolet rays like tiny prisms, guiding butterflies from one bloom to the next. Their vision is richer in some ways than ours, allowing them to perceive patterns hidden within petals, signals designed just for them. As you breathe, the quiet hum of the night reminds you of the gentle rhythm of butterfly life. Adult butterflies may live only a few weeks, yet in that short time, they bring delicate color to the world. Other species, like the monarch, can live for many months during migration. These monarchs travel astonishing distances, relying on ancestral memory, the position of the sun, and magnetic cues to guide them across continents. Imagine a monarch lifting into the air at dawn. Its wings beat with a calm, steady rhythm as it follows a path its ancestors once traveled. Each tiny motion carries it across fields, hills, and forests, guided by instincts older than any map. In the meadows, butterflies feed on more than nectar. Some drink from sap flows or rotting fruit. Others visit minerals on stones or gather at shallow water, gently absorbing salts and nutrients. These behaviors help them maintain balance, a quiet cycle of nourishment and renewal. The mist that once hovered at your feet has nearly disappeared, but small droplets remain along the petals. Butterflies often drink from dew, using these tiny beads of water as a source of hydration in early morning light. Their delicate proboscis curls and uncurls gracefully, dipping into droplets like a soft touch. Some butterflies live in tiny territories, returning to the same perch again and again, while others wander freely without boundaries. Their movements are never rushed. Even the fastest butterflies glide with a sense of ease, carried by the air, more than driven by urgency. You remember that butterflies don't have ears in the way humans do. Instead, They sense vibrations through specialized organs near their wings or along their bodies. These vibrations help them detect movement, distant wing beats, or gentle shifts in their environment. To them, the world is a tapestry of subtle tremors. The meadow grows even quieter, and you picture butterflies resting on stems and leaves, each choosing a small, safe place. Some clutch the underside of a leaf with delicate legs, holding on lightly through the night. Their bodies become perfectly still, blending into the shadows like folded petals waiting for dawn. As you take another soft breath, you feel your own body relaxing into this same gentle stillness. The calm of the night seeps into your thoughts, flowing over you like cool air drifting across the meadow. Everything slows, everything softens, and your mind feels as light as wings glowing faintly in moonlight. The night around you settles into an even deeper quiet, the kind that feels soft and steady, as if the world is wrapped in a blanket of calm. The meadow's cool air brushes gently against your skin, carrying the faint scent of wildflowers and earth. Though the butterflies remain hidden in their places of rest, their quiet lives continue to weave through the landscape, subtle and serene. As you breathe slowly, you imagine the early moments of morning, long before the sun rises. Butterflies feel the coming of dawn in ways we might overlook. The light changes, the air shifts, the temperature lifts ever so slightly. Some species begin to stir before the first rays of sunlight reach them, sensing the faint glow of a new day through their delicate wings. Butterfly wings aren't just for flying. They also serve as a canvas for temperature control. Darker colors absorb warmth quickly, helping early flyers become active sooner. Lighter colors reflect heat, allowing butterflies in hotter climates to stay cool under the sun. These natural palettes are shaped by a balance of climate, habitat, and the quiet choreography of survival. As the imagined dawn approaches, you recall how butterflies awaken slowly. Their muscles are stiff from the cool night air. They stretch their wings quietly, opening them just enough to welcome the sun's first touch. This morning ritual is essential. Without warmth, their bodies cannot move with the ease we admire. In the soft twilight, you picture one butterfly resting on a tall grass stem. Its wings are drawn tightly together, forming a slender silhouette that blends with its surroundings. Many butterflies choose vertical surfaces to hide from nocturnal creatures, aligning themselves with the shapes of plants so perfectly that they become part of the landscape. You breathe in calmly, feeling your own thoughts soften. Butterflies use their sense of smell in a way intertwined with their antennae. These slender structures detect scents that carry messages through the air: the aroma of flowers, the presence of a mate, or the chemistry of a plant ready to welcome new eggs. Their antennae act like tiny instruments, tuning in to the symphony of scents around them. Some butterflies migrate not just across distances, but across generations. One butterfly begins a journey that its great-grandchildren will finish, a long, gentle chain of flight stretching over thousands of miles. This remarkable passage isn't hurried. It unfolds with patience, carried by instinct and the subtle pull of nature's rhythms. In distant forests, certain butterflies mimic leaves so precisely that even their veins, edges, and worn spots match those of fallen foliage. Their wings fold around them like a shield, creating a disguise that makes them nearly invisible. These leaf-like patterns aren't painted randomly. They evolve through countless generations to become the perfect shelter, allowing butterflies to rest safely among the shadows. You picture a butterfly landing lightly on a flower, so lightly that the bloom barely moves. Its long proboscis uncoils with grace, dipping into hidden nectar. Each sip delivers energy that fuels its wandering. Butterflies must feed often, and their gentle visits help pollinate countless plants, carrying tiny grains of pollen from one blossom to another as if exchanging quiet greetings. Even the way butterflies flutter is part of their charm. Their wings beat with a rhythm that seems playful, but it holds purpose. The irregular, drifting flight confuses potential threats and helps them navigate through dense foliage with ease. To the human eye, it looks like a dance. To the butterfly, it is a path shaped by air, light, and instinct. As the night holds steady, you think of the soft scales covering each wing. These scales are arranged in perfect overlapping layers, forming patterns that change with the angle of light. When a butterfly loses some of these scales, its wings appear slightly faded, not harmed, just gently worn from its quiet travels through the world. Some butterflies can hear faint vibrations, even those carried through the ground or nearby leaves. They sense approaching footsteps or the gentle drumming of raindrops long before they feel the impact. This awareness keeps them safe, allowing them to retreat to sheltered places before a storm arrives. If a sudden rain begins, butterflies seek cover beneath leaves, tucking themselves into dry pockets until the clouds pass. Their wings are delicate, but they are built to shed water, allowing droplets to roll away without soaking in. Even in rainfall, their lives move with gentle adaptation rather than struggle. You take another slow breath, feeling the calm settle inside you. The meadow is quiet, the butterflies are still, and your own mind feels as light as a wing resting on a dew-touched petal. As the night deepens, you drift deeper into a sense of serenity. Each thought becomes softer, each breath smoother, carried by the peaceful presence of these small, delicate beings. The night grows even quieter now, so calm that you can almost feel the earth itself relaxing beneath you. The meadow holds its breath gently, as if waiting for the first hint of dawn. Yet here, in this soft darkness, the presence of butterflies continues in small, unseen ways. In the stillness of folded wings, in the quiet potential held within hidden chrysalides, in the patient pause that fills the hours before morning. As you rest deeper into this moment, you remember that every butterfly begins its life with a remarkable spark, a cluster of tiny cells known as imaginal discs. These discs remain dormant throughout the caterpillar's growth, like little seeds of possibility tucked inside its body. When metamorphosis begins, those cells awaken and build the adult butterfly's wings, legs, eyes, and antennae. The transformation is astonishing, a gentle collaboration between dissolution and creation, held together by nature's quiet precision. You take a slow breath and imagine a butterfly's wings shimmering with microscopic scales. These scales don't just create color, they also create warmth, texture, and subtle sounds. When a butterfly takes flight, the soft flutter you hear is a combination of these delicate structures brushing against the air. Some species even use those scales to scatter sunlight in brilliant ways, creating iridescent blues or greens when viewed from different angles. The meadow air cools slightly, and you sense how butterflies manage temperature, even in the warmest regions. Some species rest with their wings half open, allowing just the right amount of warmth to enter. Others tilt their bodies at angles that minimize overheating. Their daily rhythms follow the sun not only for energy, but also for comfort. A gentle dance of balance between warmth and shade. As the night settles, you recall that butterflies have compound eyes made up of thousands of tiny lenses. Each lens captures a fragment of the world, creating a wide field of vision. They can detect movement with incredible speed, noticing even the faintest flutter around them. Their view of the world is not sharp like ours, but mosaic-like, full of color, motion, and soft transitions. Some butterflies can even see patterns in ultraviolet light, allowing them to find flowers with hidden nectar guides. These UV patterns appear like glowing pathways on petals, leading the butterflies to what they seek. To human eyes, the flowers seem simple. To butterflies, they shine with intricate maps written in invisible colors. You breathe in quietly, noticing how butterflies choose their habitats with care. Meadow butterflies seek open sunlight. Woodland species prefer filtered shade. And for many, the right environmental cues determine much of their lives: when to emerge, when to feed, when to mate, when to rest. Their routines follow gentle rhythms set by temperature, humidity, and the changing length of days. In some regions, butterflies gather in enormous clusters, resting on tree trunks or branches in shimmering swarms. Monarchs, for instance, find their winter refuge in forests where millions gather, their wings overlapping like layered leaves. The silent weight of so many wings creates a soft hush that fills the air with calm, as if time itself slows. Butterflies communicate with scent as well as color. Males of certain species release pheromones from tiny patches on their wings or body. These scents drift through the air, carrying subtle signals that other butterflies can detect. It's a quiet language, invisible yet deeply meaningful, guiding connections across the meadow. As you rest, you think of the tiny hairs on a butterfly's body. These hairs act as sensors, detecting wind direction, pressure, and vibrations. They help butterflies navigate through the complex world of air currents, guiding them gently from one place to another. To them, the breeze is full of information, a soft river of cues they read with delicate ease. Some butterflies rely on mimicry for safety. They adopt the patterns of other species that are unpalatable, using visual deception to avoid being disturbed. This form of protection is peaceful and elegant, a reminder that nature often chooses subtlety over struggle. In the moonlit quiet, you imagine a chrysalis hanging from a leaf. Inside, new wings are forming, shaped by the creature's inner blueprint. Veins spread through the developing wings like delicate rivers, carrying nutrients and structure. When the butterfly finally emerges, it pumps fluid into those veins, allowing the wings to expand to their full, gentle beauty. The meadow rests deeply now, and even the faintest movement feels like part of a lullaby. Somewhere in the distance, a soft rustle hints at the waking of another creature, but the butterflies remain motionless, wrapped in the night's steady calm. As you breathe again, your thoughts drift like wings carried on a quiet breeze. Everything feels lighter, softer, more peaceful. The night holds you gently, just as it holds every resting butterfly within this meadow of stillness. The night reaches a tender stillness, the kind that feels almost weightless, The meadow lies in a soft hush, and the air carries a cool clarity that makes each breath feel slow and soothing. Though the butterflies remain hidden in sleep-like quiet, their gentle presence seems to drift through the darkness, adding a whisper of life to every shadow and every moonlit edge of grass. As you settle into this calm, you imagine the way a butterfly's life is shaped by cycles of light and warmth. Many species time their day around the sun, beginning their travels only when the morning light has warmed their wings. Their bodies awaken slowly, gathering the heat they need to glide. This dependence on sunlight creates a rhythm, a daily rising and resting that mirrors the unfolding of a flower. Some butterflies, especially those in cooler climates, seek stones warmed by the sun. They perch there like small jewels, absorbing heat through their wings and thorax until they feel ready to take flight. This gentle process is as unhurried as the morning itself. You breathe softly, and in the quiet, you recall the incredible diversity of butterfly wings. Some wings are broad and rounded, others are narrow or scalloped. Each shape serves a purpose, guiding flight patterns, influencing speed, helping butterflies slip through foliage, or allowing them to glide longer distances with minimal effort. Wing design is a quiet adaptation shaped by habitat, climate, and the butterfly's place in the larger tapestry of its environment. Butterflies also play a quiet role in the world of plants. As they sip nectar, they brush against pollen grains, carrying them from flower to flower. Their visits encourage new growth, new seeds, new blossoms. Though their movements seem light and effortless, they are part of a delicate web that keeps meadows and gardens blooming. As you rest deeper, you remember how butterflies find partners through color, scent, and movement. A flash of wing pattern in sunlight may draw a nearby butterfly's attention. A faint fragrance drifting through warm air may signal readiness. Their dances are gentle, shaped by instinct and the soft harmony of nature's cues. In the distance, the sky glows faintly with stars, and you think of butterflies that wander through moonlit forests. Some species become active at dawn or dusk, moving through the cool air with wings that shimmer in low light. Their patterns blend into twilight, offering them a subtle, natural shelter. The world beneath their wings is equally fascinating. Beneath the scales lies a thin membrane, transparent and delicate. The scales add structure, color, and shimmer, but the membrane itself holds the wing's true shape, so thin that light passes straight through. As the night air drifts gently, you imagine the way butterflies sense humidity and rain. A sudden change in the air may send them seeking shelter. They tuck themselves under leaves and branches, resting until the moisture passes. Their wings, naturally hydrophobic, repel water with ease, letting raindrops slide away like tiny beads of silver. In some forests, butterflies gather around tree sap, their shadows forming a pattern on the bark as they drink from sweet flows that contain nutrients not found in flowers. In other regions, they rest on sandy banks, absorbing minerals from the soil. A quiet ritual of nourishment that supports their vibrant lives. You take another slow breath and feel your mind drifting into the gentle world of butterfly senses. Their taste receptors lie on their feet, allowing them to detect sweetness or bitterness the moment they land on a surface. Their vision, far beyond human perception in certain wavelengths, reveals flowers in colors we cannot imagine. And though they cannot hear in the way humans do, some butterflies can sense the faint vibration of wings nearby, or the soft movement of air across petals. These delicate perceptions form their quiet language, a conversation carried on through touch, scent, and light. You imagine the soft beginnings of morning far off on the horizon. Butterflies, still resting now, will soon feel the temperature change, the subtle brightening of the sky. The promise of warmth will stir them slowly from their stillness. Some will emerge from chrysalides, unfolding new wings for the first time. Others will return to their daily paths along blossoms and leaves. Each one will navigate the world in its own gentle way, guided by instinct older than memory. The meadow around you breathes deeply now. The cool darkness feels complete. And yet it is filled with the quiet pulse of life, waiting for the first touch of dawn. As you inhale gently, you feel yourself drifting into that same peaceful rhythm, calm, light, unhurried, your thoughts moving like wings through a soft, steady breeze. The night has grown velvety and deep, wrapping the meadow in a stillness so complete that even the smallest sounds feel distant and softened. You breathe slowly, and the air around you feels cool and steady, carrying the gentle scent of night flowers just beginning to open. Though the butterflies remain hidden in quiet rest, their world continues to breathe softly through the darkness. As you settle into this peaceful moment, you picture a butterfly's wings held tightly together beneath a leaf. Some species angle their wings so perfectly that moonlight barely touches them. Their patterns, so vivid in daylight, soften into muted tones at night, a natural camouflage that blends seamlessly with the quiet shapes of the meadow. You remember how butterflies navigate the world through touch and vibration. Tiny receptors along their wings and bodies allow them to sense the slightest shift in air movement. A calm night such as this sends no alarms. Just a gentle invitation to rest until morning brings warmth once again. In the cool darkness, you imagine how a butterfly's heart beats. It is not a single pump like a human heart, but a tube that pulses rhythmically along its back, sending nutrients and oxygen through its body. This heartbeat continues gently through the night, slower now, playing a quiet rhythm that mirrors the calm around you. You breathe again and recall how butterflies use colors not only for beauty, but also for communication. Some species display bold patches of red or orange that tell others they are unpalatable. Others wear soft pastels that act as signals between males and females. And some shimmer with patterns invisible to human eyes, but radiant under ultraviolet light, a secret language hidden in their wings. As the night air settles, you think of caterpillars hidden in the foliage nearby. They rest too, suspended on the underside of leaves or curled gently in place. Their nights are quiet moments of growth, where each hour brings them closer to their next stage. Their lives are filled with patience, a slow unfolding that mirrors the meadow's calm. Some caterpillars have subtle ways of protecting themselves in the dark. They freeze completely when disturbed, becoming still as twigs. Others blend into their surroundings so flawlessly that even moonlight cannot reveal them. Their world relies on quiet imitation, a peaceful method of staying safe until transformation calls. You imagine a distant rainforest where butterflies move differently at night. A few species rest in groups, clustering together on branches or trunks. Their wings overlap like layered fabric, forming patterns that protect them through shared disguise. This collective rest is silent, shaped by instinct, and held in the soft cradle of nocturnal air. Nearby, the dew begins to settle on petals and blades of grass. Butterflies will use this moisture when dawn arrives, sipping from tiny droplets that cling to leaves. To them, dew is as precious as nectar, a quiet source of nourishment gathered from the cool breath of night. As you breathe deeply, your mind drifts toward the way butterflies grow through stages of life. Metamorphosis isn't rushed. Inside each chrysalis, the transformation unfolds with perfect timing. Cells reorganize, structures form, and wings appear like fragile paintings. The entire process happens in silence, hidden from the world, until the moment of emergence. Some species of butterflies spend the winter as chrysalids, waiting through months of cold. Their bodies slow almost to stillness, conserving energy until the first warm air of spring triggers awakening. This seasonal pause is a reminder of nature's quiet resilience, a willingness to wait, to rest, and to rise again when the world is ready. A cool whisper of breeze moves through the meadow, and you sense how butterflies feel such changes with ease. They know when the air shifts toward dawn, when the humidity is right for flight, when sunlight begins to touch the horizon even before your eyes can detect it. In that same quiet awareness, your thoughts soften. The meadow seems to breathe with you, steady and slow. You feel the calm of this night as though it's settling into your own chest, into your shoulders, into the space behind your eyes. You imagine one butterfly awakening far away, perhaps earlier than the rest. It stretches its wings and feels the gentle tenderness of early light. Though you cannot see it yet, its small motions echo the soft beginnings of a new day. For now, though, the night remains peaceful. The world sleeps, and you drift with it, light as wings folded in the dark, held softly in the quiet breath of nature. The night settles into its deepest quiet now, a stillness so soft it feels like a slow, steady exhale from the earth itself. The meadow around you rests under a faint shimmer of starlight, each blade of grass catching a tiny glint of silver. In this gentle darkness, the world feels hushed and safe, and even though the butterflies remain hidden, their presence lingers like a soft echo, light, delicate, and calming. As you breathe slowly, you imagine a butterfly's wings close tightly for the night. Their undersides, often more muted than the bright top surfaces, serve as natural camouflage. Some mimic dried leaves with intricate veins and gentle folds. Others resemble pebbles or bark blending into the quiet shapes around them. Their nighttime patterns are a reminder that rest is its own form of protection. You picture one butterfly perched beneath a broad leaf, its tiny legs gripping the surface with ease. Their feet contain tiny claws and sensory pads that let them hold on securely, even as a cool breeze drifts through the meadow. This ability allows them to sleep without slipping, cradled gently by the plant they've chosen for shelter. As the stars glow overhead, you recall that butterflies breathe through tiny openings along their bodies called spiracles. Air flows in and out without sound, without effort. This simple, quiet process mirrors your own slow breathing, gentle, rhythmic, and calming. You take another breath and imagine how butterflies rely on sunlight to warm themselves each morning. Before flight, their bodies must reach just the right temperature. They bask with wings spread open or angled toward the sun like living petals absorbing light. This daily ritual is a peaceful awakening, a reminder that warmth and energy come naturally when the morning arrives. In the stillness of the night, you think of the delicate scales on butterfly wings. They are arranged like shingles on a tiny roof, giving each wing its color, texture, and shimmer. When light hits these scales, some bend it, some absorb it, and some reflect it, creating the vibrant patterns we see. Under starlight, those scales look dust-like and soft, like pastel powders resting on silk. As you rest deeper into this moment, you imagine how butterflies sense the world with far more subtlety than we do. They can detect faint traces of scent in the air, guiding them toward flowers or other butterflies. They perceive ultraviolet patterns in blossoms, reading them like glowing signposts. Their view of the world is filled with layers of color and light we can't perceive. A quiet brilliance hidden from human eyes. In distant forests, some butterflies spend their nights clinging to tree bark with wings pressed tightly together. Their shapes resemble lichen or moss, blending into the speckled pattern of the trunk. This camouflage protects them from nighttime disturbances, allowing them to rest without fear in the gentle darkness. You breathe in again, feeling your own stillness deepen. The night feels cool and comforting, and you imagine small caterpillars resting beneath leaves. Their tiny bodies, so devoted to growth, pause during the night to conserve energy. Some sleep curled around stems. Others rest on silk pads they've spun, tiny hammocks holding them safely above the ground. Caterpillars have simple eyes that sense only changes in brightness. The night, with its softness and shade, tells them to remain still until daylight guides them again. Their calm inactivity is part of their journey, a quiet balance between movement and rest. You imagine chrysalides hanging from branches nearby. Some glow faintly with moonlight, each one containing a transformation in progress. Inside, cells reorganize with perfect order, creating the structures needed for flight. Tiny wings form with veins that will guide nutrients and support each flutter. Even now, in the stillness, these transformations unfold silently, guided by instinct and time. A gentle shift in the air brings the faintest scent of flowers. Butterflies use their proboscis not only for nectar, but for delicate tasting of surfaces. They explore petals like explorers reading the texture of the world. At dawn, when they begin to feed, their movements will be slow and unhurried, each sip a small offering from flower to wing. You hear a faint rustle in the grass, and you remember that butterflies can sense vibrations long before they see the source. Their sensitivity keeps them aware without ever needing to be alert in the way we imagine. The world speaks softly to them through air and light and scent. You breathe slowly, letting the calm settle deeper into your body. Thoughts drift like wings in a gentle current. The meadow feels like a sanctuary, a place where everything moves with softness, where every creature rests without hurry. Above you, the stars shimmer faintly. Butterflies, though blind to starlight in the way we see it, still sense the shift in the sky as night prepares to turn toward dawn. This subtle anticipation is woven into their rhythms, just as your thoughts now move naturally toward rest. You settle into this softness, feeling calm spread across your mind, like wings folding into stillness. The world is quiet. You are quiet. Everything around you flows toward peace. The night grows gentler still, settling over the meadow like a soft, dark veil. Each breath you take feels smoother than the last, as if the air itself is whispering calmness into your lungs. Around you, the world rests in a peaceful pause, a long, unbroken exhale held beneath the faint glow of the stars. Butterflies remain hidden in their quiet refuges, yet their presence feels woven into every shadow. The meadow carries their softness even in darkness, a reminder that delicate things continue to exist even when we cannot see them. As you breathe slowly, you imagine butterflies resting in clusters in distant forests. Some species gather tightly on branches, their wings layered over one another like folded petals. Their combined warmth helps them survive cool nights, and their stillness creates a gentle hush that settles over the trees. Each wing becomes part of a larger quiet, a shared rest carried by thousands. You picture the underside of a butterfly's wing, often overlooked, yet just as intricate as the top. These hidden patterns offer camouflage and protection, forming tiny landscapes of freckles, streaks, and muted colors. In the faint starlight, these patterns blur into shapes that resemble leaves, bark, or the soft curves of dry petals. You breathe in and recall how butterflies maintain balance as they perch. Their legs are equipped with tiny claws that curve gently around the surfaces they land on. Even a sliver of grass can support them, and they hold on effortlessly. No matter how lightly they rest, their antennae, thin and graceful, help them sense the moisture in the air. Dew forming on the meadow signals the coming of dawn, and butterflies seem to understand this shift intuitively. The coolness of night is not a hardship but a quiet interlude, a space where their bodies slow, their wings fold, and the world grows still around them. As your breath deepens, you remember that butterflies are among the oldest winged creatures on Earth. Fossils show their delicate wing scales preserved in ancient stone, tiny imprints of color and pattern from millions of years ago. Their lineage stretches back through eras of change, yet their form has remained gentle and familiar, a testament to nature's enduring elegance. In warmer climates, some butterflies remain slightly active at night, adjusting their rhythms to the cooler air. They move in short glides, guided by faint sources of light and the subtle chemical signals carried on the breeze. Even in darkness, their steps are careful and thoughtful, never rushed. You imagine butterflies emerging from chrysalides at the very edge of dawn. Some will split their cocoon moments before sunlight touches their wings, letting the first gentle warmth help them unfold. Their wings glisten with dew as they stretch, the colors deepening with every passing breath of morning light. A soft pulse of wind stirs the meadow, and you think of how butterflies navigate by reading tiny differences in sunlight. They sense the angle of the sun, combining those cues with an internal clock, a natural compass that guides them from flower to flower. This delicate navigation is effortless, shaped by millions of years of quiet refinement. Some butterflies have eye spots on their wings, circles that look like gentle reflections of larger creatures. These eye spots aren't threatening. They simply redirect attention, helping butterflies stay safe without struggle. Their peaceful strategies show how survival can be soft, subtle, almost poetic. You breathe again and imagine fields where butterflies drift in slow spirals, gathering around mineral-rich puddles in shimmering groups. This gathering, puddling, is a moment of shared nourishment where wings touch lightly and patterns overlap like petals in a wind-blown bouquet. Butterflies also form memories. They learn which flowers offer the best nectar, remembering scents and colors as they flutter from place to place. Their minds, though small, hold details of their favorite paths and sunlit spots. In the deep quiet, you picture a butterfly's shadow in the early morning, a faint silhouette cast across a petal or a stone. Even its shadow feels soft, barely a suggestion of form drifting along with the slow rise of daylight. As you sink further into calm, you feel the serenity of the meadow surrounding you. It wraps around your thoughts like warm light, carrying you toward a deeper rest. The night holds you as gently as it holds the resting butterflies, safe, sheltered, and unhurried. You exhale slowly, feeling your mind lighten. Everything feels quiet. Everything feels still. A soft drift of peace settles across you like wings folding into the early hours before dawn. The night has reached its softest point now. That quiet moment when the world feels suspended, as though time itself is resting. The meadow lies beneath a faint silver glow, touched only by the gentlest hints of starlight. Each breath you take moves slowly and smoothly, blending with the deep stillness around you. The butterflies remain tucked safely in their chosen shelters, yet their delicate presence feels as though it drifts through the darkness, woven into the air like a whisper of color waiting for dawn. As you settle deeper into this calm, you imagine one butterfly resting inside a chrysalis that hangs from a nearby stem. The chrysalis is firm yet delicate, its surface smooth and slightly translucent. Inside, a quiet transformation continues through the night. Tiny details of wings, legs, and antennae form in silence, each cell knowing exactly where to go. This gentle creation unfolds without haste, a patient artistry happening in the dark. You breathe slowly, and the stillness reminds you of how adult butterflies warm themselves with sunlight. But their early lives rely on the warmth held deep within the chrysalis. Even in cooler nights, the structure provides shelter, holding the developing butterfly safely inside its protective shell. A soft breeze brushes through the grasses, and you imagine the way butterflies feel such changes with ease. Sensors along their wings and bodies notice even the tiniest movement of air. The cool night breeze carries information, hints about weather, predators, and the coming dawn, all perceived without sound. You recall how butterflies have hollow veins running through their wings. These veins give structure and allow nutrients to flow when the wings first unfold. When a newly emerged butterfly hangs quietly from its chrysalis, fluid moves through these veins, turning soft, crumpled wings into smooth, delicate sails. This expansion happens slowly, with a sense of calm, like a breath filling gently. As you breathe in, you think of how butterflies choose where to lay their eggs with incredible precision. Each species selects particular plants: milkweed for monarchs, nettles for red admirals, citrus for swallowtails. The tiny caterpillars will depend entirely on these leaves, so the choice is guided by instinct and a delicate awareness of scent and texture. In the deep night, you imagine the caterpillars resting beneath moonlit leaves. Some species feed only during the day, while others prefer the quiet shelter of the night. They navigate using touch, following the gentle ridges of stems and veins of leaves. Their world is small yet rich with subtle textures and patterns. A faint shimmer of dew glosses the meadow, forming tiny droplets along the edges of petals. These beads of water will become a morning drink for butterflies who wake early. They sip from the dew before flowers open, using their curled proboscis to gather moisture in delicate sips. As your breath deepens, you recall that butterfly flight is not constant. It's shaped by rhythm. They glide, rest, glide again, catching small currents of air to conserve energy. This movement is gentle and efficient, like drifting through the world, guided by invisible hands. In some regions, butterflies gather around riverbanks where minerals collect in the soil. Large groups form shimmering clusters of wings, each butterfly absorbing nutrients from the earth. Their presence turns the river edge into a living mosaic, wings rising and falling like soft waves. You picture their eyes, made of thousands of tiny facets, each one capturing a piece of the world. Together, these facets allow them to see motion with remarkable speed. They notice shifts in light, approaches of shadows, and the subtle flicker of petals. Their vision is wide and sensitive, a peaceful awareness rather than sharp focus. As the night air drifts, you remember how butterflies rest with their wings closed to hide their brightest colors. This gentle folding not only conserves warmth, but also protects them from blending into the shadows perfectly. Every resting butterfly becomes part of the landscape, a quiet shape that echoes the softness of the night. You breathe softly, letting that same softness settle into your thoughts. The meadow feels like a sanctuary, a place where transformation happens quietly, where life moves with grace, and where rest is a natural part of every rhythm. The sky above shifts almost imperceptibly, a hint of pale blue beginning to touch the horizon. Butterflies, still resting, feel this change before it becomes visible. Dawn is coming slowly, gently, like a whisper through the dark. Your breath deepens. Your mind loosens. The world feels quiet, safe, and unhurried. Just like a butterfly waiting for the sun, the first hint of dawn begins to brush against the edge of the sky, not yet bright, but softly shifting the night toward morning. The meadow around you remains wrapped in stillness, but there is a subtle sense of waking, a quiet anticipation held in the cool air. You breathe slowly, and each inhale feels like it carries a touch of that early light. Butterflies remain tucked in their shelters, yet something delicate begins to stir within them. Long before the sun becomes visible, they sense the faint rise in temperature, the slight change in color around the horizon, and the softness of the night beginning to lift. Their bodies respond gently, as though a tiny thread inside them has loosened, ready to welcome the coming warmth. As you breathe deeply, you picture a butterfly resting beneath a leaf, wings folded so tightly that the delicate patterns hide completely. Many species use this time to prepare their muscles for morning flight. They don't stretch visibly, but their internal rhythms shifts, their heartbeat growing a bit stronger, their senses waking with quiet curiosity. You remember that butterflies have tiny scales, not only on their wings, but on parts of their bodies too. These scales help with insulation, giving them a little warmth during cooler hours. When the sun rises, the scales catch light beautifully, creating glimmers that change with each movement. A gentle breeze strokes the meadow, and you imagine how butterflies rely on such air currents when they begin their morning flights. Even the smallest wind can guide them, helping them glide farther with less effort. Their wings are designed to ride these currents like delicate sails. As dawn approaches, you recall that butterflies feed on more than nectar. Some also drink from tree sap, tears of fruit, or the minerals left behind on stones. These diverse sources help them stay nourished even when flowers are scarce. Their choices are guided by scent and taste, a quiet knowledge learned through instinct and gentle exploration. In the faint light, you imagine a chrysalis trembling slightly, a sign that the butterfly inside has completed its transformation. The moment of emergence is tender. The chrysalis opens slowly, allowing the butterfly to slip out with wings still soft and folded. It clings to the empty shell, pumping fluid into each delicate vein until the wings spread fully, glistening with morning dew. This emergence is one of nature's most peaceful revelations. No noise, no rush, just a slow unfold, a quiet readiness to step into the world. You take another breath and picture the patterns on a butterfly's wings. Many serve specific purposes. Some attract mates, others blend into foliage, and some mimic the wings of species that taste unpleasant, offering gentle protection through illusion. Each pattern is a delicate story, painted by evolution's patient hand. As the sky brightens, you imagine meadow butterflies beginning to warm up. They position themselves to catch the first rays of sunlight, absorbing heat through their wings. This basking is essential. Without it, they cannot take flight. Their bodies must reach a certain warmth before they can glide through the morning air. You breathe softly, feeling the warmth in your imagination. Some butterflies warm their thorax by vibrating their wings, a quiet tremoring that acts like a natural engine beginning to hum. It is subtle, rhythmic, and entirely guided by instinct. In tropical regions, butterflies greet the morning with bursts of color as they drift between newly opened blossoms. Some species prefer the earliest flowers of the day, sipping nectar that collects during nighttime humidity. Others wait for a brighter light, choosing sunlit flowers where they can feed and warm themselves simultaneously. The meadow around you feels lighter now, as though the night's weight has quietly dissolved. A few birds begin to sing in the distance, their soft voices signaling the turning of the sky. Though butterflies are not yet moving, the world prepares gently for their presence. You recall how sensitive butterflies are to temperature. Even small variations guide their behavior. A slightly cooler morning may keep them resting longer. A warm breeze might encourage earlier flight. This sensitivity shapes every part of their day, creating rhythms as soft and predictable as the rising sun. As you breathe deeply, your thoughts drift like a butterfly gliding over a dewy field. Light, soft, unhurried, the sky brightens just a touch more. Soon, the butterflies will stretch their wings and begin their morning wandering, a quiet ballet of color and motion woven into the opening day. But for now, everything remains calm, restful, held in the gentle pause between night and dawn. The sky grows gradually brighter now, touched by the softest hues of early morning, pale lavender, gentle rose, and a faint wash of gold that seems to breathe across the horizon. The meadow stirs almost imperceptibly, as though waking from a long and peaceful dream. You breathe slowly, letting this gentle light seep into the quiet spaces of your mind. The butterflies are still at rest, but the soft warmth beginning to rise through the air reaches them. Their bodies sense it before their wings ever move, a delicate awareness tied to temperature and light, guiding them toward the moment of waking. Some cling tightly to the undersides of leaves, while others hold on to slender stems, their legs locked in a calm grip that keeps them safe through the night. As you breathe deeper, you imagine a butterfly beginning its morning ritual. Before it flies, it must bask. It opens its wings carefully, allowing the first rays of sunlight to touch its delicate surface. The warmth spreads slowly through its thorax, activating the tiny muscles needed for flight. This stillness before movement is like a quiet meditation, a pause to gather strength gently. You picture how some butterflies angle their wings toward the sun, like satellites catching light. Others tilt them slightly to avoid overheating, especially in warm regions where the day brightens quickly. Their wings act as both shields and collectors, helping them manage the balance between warmth and coolness with effortless grace. A tender breeze ripples across the meadow, carrying the scent of dew-covered petals. Butterfly wings, though delicate, are sturdy enough to withstand such breezes. The scales that coat them create subtle textures that help shed moisture and protect from sudden temperature drops. Even the smallest details of their wings contribute to their survival in ways that feel almost poetic. As the light brightens a little more, caterpillars hidden beneath leaves may begin to stir as well. Their mornings start with gentle exploration, guided by smell and touch. They find the tenderest parts of leaves, feeding slowly and steadily. Each bite contributes to their transformation, storing energy for the day when they will enter a chrysalis and begin their quiet, miraculous change. You breathe softly, imagining chrysalis after chrysalis hanging like tiny lanterns across the meadow. Some shimmer faintly, catching bits of early sunlight. The butterflies inside, if close to emerging, sense the warmth and shift slightly. Their wings are already formed, folded tightly against their bodies, waiting for the moment when the world becomes warm enough to welcome them. A butterfly's emergence is always timed with care. Too cold, and its wings won't expand properly. Too windy, and it might struggle to cling to its chrysalis shell. But the soft stillness of early morning is perfect, a gentle cradle where every movement can unfold without hurry. You picture a newly emerged butterfly, spreading its wings wide, the colors brightening as the surface dries. Each vein glows softly with life, carrying fluid and strength to every corner of its wings. Within minutes or hours, it becomes ready for its first flight, a motion so light it feels like a breath drifting through the air. As you exhale slowly, you remember how butterflies help shape the day for other creatures as well. Their visits to flowers encourage blossoms to open wider. Their movement draws the attention of birds, bees, and even the breeze itself, creating a subtle rhythm in the meadow that feels alive and connected. In warmer places, some butterflies begin their day with gentle interactions. Males may glide in looping patterns, signaling presence through soft, fluttering dances. Females respond with subtle movements of their wings, guided by instinct and scent. Their communication is peaceful, built on color, light, and graceful motion. You breathe again, feeling the meadow warming with every imagined moment. The dew begins to evaporate, leaving petals sparkling under the soft sun. Butterflies will soon sip from these blossoms, drawing in the sweet nectar that gives them energy for wandering. Their delicate proboscis uncurls like a soft ribbon, dipping effortlessly into the heart of a flower. Even their flight paths reflect calm and tension. Some glide low to the ground, drifting over grasses and tiny blooms. Others rise higher, exploring taller flowers or catching currents that carry them across the meadow in long, lazy arcs. The transition from night to morning feels seamless, a gentle unfolding rather than a sudden change. And as the butterflies begin to move, the meadow shifts into quiet harmony, each creature waking in its own slow rhythm. You breathe deeply once more, feeling the peace of this early morning wrap around you. Everything feels warm, calm, and softly alive, just like the butterflies preparing for their first flight of the day. The first full light of morning settles across the meadow, warm and gentle, like a soft blanket of gold spreading over every petal and leaf. Your breath moves slowly, easily, as though it has found the same quiet rhythm the butterflies follow when they greet the new day. The world feels peaceful, bright, but not harsh, wrapped in a calm glow that invites everything to soften. The butterflies begin to stir now. It happens quietly, a slight shift of a wing, a small tremble along a leaf, a gentle unfolding of color. Their wings, still cool from the night, open carefully, absorbing the sun's warmth in slow, steady waves. Some hold their wings wide, like tiny solar sails. Others flutter them softly, warming the muscles within. This awakening is never rushed. It is a moment of deep stillness before the day's gentle wandering begins. As you breathe, you imagine the first butterfly lifting into the air. Its wings catch sunlight in a shimmering display, colors glowing brighter as they warm. The flight is unhurried, a soft drifting motion that feels more like floating than flying. The morning air supports it, guiding its path through the meadow's quiet spaces. You picture another butterfly perched on a blossom. Its proboscis uncoils with delicate grace, dipping into the heart of a flower where nectar waits. This first sip is slow, warming its body from within. As it feeds, it transfers tiny grains of pollen to the bloom, whispering life into the next cycle of growth. The relationship between butterfly and flower is gentle and ancient, a quiet partnership shaped by time. A soft breeze moves through the meadow, carrying warmth and the sweet scent of blooming petals. Butterflies respond with effortless glides, their wings lifting and settling with the ease of floating petals. Their movement shapes the air around them, adding tiny, calming currents to the morning light. You take a long, slow breath and imagine butterflies gathering near a shallow patch of earth where moisture lingers. They gather together in small, shimmering groups, their wings rising and falling like breathing. This puddling brings them minerals essential for life, a peaceful ritual that connects them to the ground beneath. Their presence turns the earth into a soft mosaic of colors. Some butterflies wander toward the edges of the meadow, where sunlight filters through taller grasses. There, they find warm stones to perch on, letting the heat reach them fully. Others drift upward, exploring higher blooms that have just opened for the day. Their flight paths are never straight. They follow the soft invitations of the breeze, weaving through the meadow like strokes of glowing paint. You breathe again, deeper now, feeling the calm settle through your shoulders. The butterfly's world reminds you that movement can be gentle, that life can unfold without rush, that beauty can exist in the smallest, quietest moments. Their presence turns the morning into something soft and dreamlike. In the distance, a few butterflies begin their longer journeys, rising above the meadow as though carried by invisible hands. Their migrations span fields, forests, valleys, and even continents. Yet each journey begins just like this, with a soft stretch of wings and a quiet readiness inside. Some butterflies will stay in the meadow all day, exploring flowers and sunlit corners. Others will drift beyond the horizon. But for now, they all share this warm, peaceful beginning. You take one final, slow breath, letting the warmth of the morning settle deeply inside your chest. The meadow around you feels full of life, yet wonderfully calm. A place where nothing demands your attention, where everything unfolds in soft, steady rhythms. The butterflies rise into the morning air, peaceful and glowing, their wings carrying them gently into the joy. And you, wrapped in this same calm light, feel held, safe, and deeply at ease. This is the moment where the world becomes quiet inside you, a soft space where you can rest, breathe, and let go. Close your eyes if you wish. Let the softness settle around you and drift into your own peaceful rest, carried as lightly as a butterfly on a warm morning breeze.